Hey folks, how you doing? It's Alan. Welcome back. We're here again with Miss Dianne from Portland, Oregon. And what we're going to be talking about today is the skill set better known as the glue between building relationships with your prospects, getting to know them, getting to build rapport with them, actually getting to that phase where people are looking at you as a trusted advisor and someone who they can really look up to. And part of that is not just based on skill, it's not just based on your ability, but it's also based on that one factor that everybody wants to have, but not everybody practices. And that area is better known as commitment. And the reason why we're going to talk about it today is because Dianne has had the pleasure, or the experience, I don't know if it's a pleasure, but she's had the experience of having both. You know, both times in her life where she's had some commitment, and at other times where she's had an immense amount of commitment to her ultimate goals, like right now. And I want her to be able to share with you the difference between the two so you can understand why it's so important, why not having that one skill set, and it is a skill, to be committed. Why the lack of commitment could literally destroy your future. It could kill every chance that you have to succeed if you don't exercise it. So who better than someone who's lived it, right? Dianne, thank you again for being here. Much appreciated.
Well, it's great being here.
Absolutely. Now start us off. You know, commitment. What everybody hears it, and everybody has an idea as to what it means. But what does that word commitment mean to you?
Well, commitment means to bind by a promise to completely give of yourself, to your group, to your team, to your business. But commitment doesn't just start with saying it. You have to feel it 100% to the core and practice that desire, commitment.
Okay. So how does somebody go about practicing commitment? And I know that sounds like such a rhetorical question, but for the new people that have never seen this before, how would somebody brand new to the industry practice commitment?
By practicing commitment, you would say, I'm looking at my dreams, my goals. How deeply and how much do I want this goal to get accomplished? And by committing, saying that, you know, keep asking yourself and committing to, is this my passion to reach this goal? This is what you start doing, asking yourself every day, then you will be committed and have commitment.
Gotcha. Okay. So how's that going to help somebody over time? You know, when as they grow in their commitment to themselves, to their team, you know, especially during the hard times, because it's so easy when things are going good, it's easy to be committed, right?
Right.
But when things are tough, when things aren't going our way, when, you know, we're waking up or going to bed at night thinking, man, that was a rough day, you know, how do you think this could help somebody over time as they increase their commitment, especially during the hard times?
Well, one of the things is when you do not stay committed, you do not reach your goal. This is not what you want to do. You got to get clear what you want, and you got to stay committed to it. Now, we can change our decisions, and we can say we've got quite a few things we want to be committed to, but start with the one and stick with that commitment and keep going on it. Take it one day at a time.
Okay. So, just real quick, you know, I know some people are probably thinking, well, Dianne, that's probably easy for you to say, but you don't understand my situation. I've got a $600 rent payment, let's just say. Right? I got a $600 rent payment. I just got fired from my job. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent at the end of the month, you know, and I need to make money now. I need to, you know, make money now, Dianne. So how am I supposed to stay committed when I've got all this stuff going on in my mind? You know, what would you say to somebody who wants to be committed but is going through every challenge in life, which we all go through? That's normal. If we didn't go through challenges, then there'd be no, you know, succeeding wouldn't be as fulfilling as it is. because without the challenge, there's no real achievement, right?
Right.
And I know that you understand that, but for the newbie who wants to really stay committed, but they don't understand that mindset, what kind of advice could you give to someone who's, so new that a $600 rent payment that isn't going to be paid could easily throw them off in achieving their ultimate goals?
Well, one thing, if you're really committed people do not quit. And making a decision and using your personal power, make that decision strong and say, I'm not willing to accept anything less. I want to reach my goal. I want to make that desire a part of my life. When you start saying that and you keep with it, they say the human will is the most powerful part or force in the world. Do you have that human will or do you want to use that human will that's one of the most powerful forces in the world?
So how do we use that? Like, what's the, I guess a better way of me asking this is, when you go through your challenges, just like I do and everybody else, when you've got that nagging voice in the back of your head that says, oh, you can't do it, don't do it, what makes you think you can do it? Because, that's part of the reason why some people lack commitment. It's because the back of their brain say they can't, right?
Yeah.
Which you and I both know is BS. I mean, anybody can achieve anything. It takes knowledge and application, which is what we're trying to share with people. But when you go through that, or when you went through that a lot in the beginning stages of your career, what was it that you said to yourself that kept pushing you forward?
Well, I kept thinking about fear, but I kept thinking, I've got to face it. I got to start small. I've heard many speakers like Ellie Drake say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And you take life one step at a time. You have to keep going and going. You may fail 70% of the time, but use those ideas that stop and think how you failed, and use that as an education of how you can go forward.
Gotcha. Okay. And what if somebody doesn't focus on this, and they say, well, if I'm committed, I am. If I'm not, I'm not. If somebody decides to be a little bit more on the flimsy end, which I'm not pointing fingers, we've all been there, so have I. And you know what I'm talking about, right?
Uh-huh.
When somebody's flimsy on their commitment level, what do you think happens to them, to their career?